Let me tell you how I got shredded in 60 days. So if you know me, you'll know that I'm one of those guys whose genetics aren't the best. I pretty much struggle with the two things that every gym lad strives for. I struggle to put on muscle and I struggle to put on strength. However, another thing that is very important when it comes to getting shredded is your metabolism. And my metabolism ain't the best. Now what I mean by that is it's quite slow. And when you've got a slow metabolism, it means that you're more likely to store more fat and it's harder to lose weight and keep the weight off once you've lost it. Now for some people watching this, you might think it's much better than having a fast metabolism, because when you have a fast metabolism, it's even harder to put on strength and muscle. However, when you have a fast metabolism, it's so easy to stay shredded. Naturally, you'll be quite skinny, but you'll basically have abs 365 days a year. So it's pretty much a case of you want what you can't have. I've got a slow metabolism and I want a fast one because it's that much easier to keep fat off. But in this video, I've compiled a list of all the tips and tricks that I've picked over the past couple years that I now use whenever I want to shift that body fat. And now more than ever, I find this process so much easier because of everything that I'm about to talk about. So if you are looking to lose weight this summer, stick around and listen what I have to tell you. So let's start off with the obvious and most important one, your calorie deficit. Now, without a calorie deficit, you can practically kiss your future abs goodbye. Without this one simple step, you will not lose a gram of body fat. Calorie deficit basically means you're consuming more calories than your body naturally burns on a day-to-day basis. Eat more than what your body naturally burns and you'll gain weight. Eat below what your body naturally burns and you'll lose weight. And that is where you want to be. And believe it when I say, if you don't make sure you're eating less than what you're meant to be, you won't see any results. It's a simple matter of calories in, calories out. All the other steps that I'll be mentioning are just add-ons to this one step. So, how do you find out how many calories your body naturally burns? Well, you can just go online to a calorie calculator, type in your age, height, and weight, press a couple buttons, and bam, that is how many calories your body naturally burns. But then there's the problem of figuring out how many calories you're eating. Well, this is what you need to hear. You need to track every little bit of food that you put into your body. It is the longest process ever, but it's the only way you will truly know how many calories you're eating. So if you go ahead and download an app like MyFitnessPal, and then just type in all the foods you're eating, all the calories will come up there and you can just log everything you eat during the day, just to ensure that you know that you're eating below your maintenance. Next thing on my list is cardio. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't have to do cardio. Because like I said in my previous tip, if you are eating fewer calories, you'll be fine and you will lose weight. However, doing cardio just speeds up the fat burning process. If you do more cardio, you'll be in a greater deficit, meaning that on a weekly basis, you will be losing more grams of fat, and therefore greater the rate of fat loss. So what would I recommend? Personally, I love incline walk. If you're just gonna do regular walk with no incline, I don't even know what to say. Just don't do it. Just tap that incline button a few times and it just becomes so much better. So incline walk is definitely a good choice. Or another personal favorite of mine is the cross trainer, or if you're American, the elliptical machine. And I like this because it's not just your legs doing the cardio, it's your whole body. You have to move your arms, your legs. And it actually surprised me how quickly you burn calories on this thing. So those are the two things I'd recommend when it comes to cardio. Boys, there are some huge sales on at myprotein right now. Depending on when you're watching this, my code HAL will get you 37% off your order, or it might even be that there's 80% off almost everything on the whole website. So all you need to do, click the first link in the description to go to myprotein.com, use code HAL at checkout, and you'll get some fat savings off your order. And it also helps this guy out. So go do that, it'll be greatly appreciated. Back to the video. Okay, on the real, those first two tips are the only things you really need when it comes to fat loss. However, if you're watching this, you're probably a gym rat like myself, and whilst you're losing the fat, you're also wanting to conserve as much muscle as physically possible. Because let's be real, who wants to lose all that fat, but at the same time wants to lose all the muscle? So once you've lost all the fat, you've got nothing to show for it. You need to be conserving as much muscle at all possible costs. So how do you do this? Well, my first tip, train like an absolute madman. Train in the gym with intensity and purpose. Because especially when you're in a calorie deficit, this is the most important time to be training hard. You see, when you're in a calorie deficit, fat isn't just the only source of energy that your body goes looking for. It's also going to go ahead and use and cannibalize muscle tissue for energy. But if you're training extremely hard, it's more likely that you'll retain more muscle and your body will just use up the fat cells as energy and then you'll lose the weight. Another thing is eating everyone's favorite thing, protein. protein. That is another key thing, which means you will not lose your big, juicy muscles on your diet. This lighting is atrocious. In short, eating a lot of protein will ensure that you don't lose a lot of muscle, which means when you've lost all that fat, you'll have something underneath it to show. And you won't just revert back to that skinny little kid you were a couple years ago. Some good, easy sources of protein I'd recommend are chicken, steak, beef mince, eggs, salmon, and of course, protein powder. Next up, drink water. I'll be real with you guys, when you're on a cut, you're gonna be hungry as fuck. So if you drink a lot of water, it's gonna help you out significantly. When you're drinking a lot of liquid, it's gonna expand your stomach, which is gonna trick your brain into thinking that you're full. When in reality, your stomach's just full of 0-calorie water, but at the same time, it means that you're not gonna eat because your brain thinks you're full. Now, another thing that it does for me, this is not scientifically proven, but it just makes me feel better. I feel like it's flushing out all the bad stuff in my body that I don't want to be there whilst I'm cutting, and it just makes you feel healthier. Now, the last thing I do, I'm not proud of. It's something I take that begins with S. I'm sure a lot of you might know what I'm talking about, and that is, of course, supplements. And in particular, creatine. This stuff basically helps you produce more ATP, which is the body's chemical formula for energy, and it's what your muscles need to work. So the more creatine you have, the more ATP you have, and the more ATP you have, the more energy your muscles will have. This means that they can work for longer, and they are also stronger. It means you can squeeze out a couple extra reps at the end of a set, or you can put a bit more weight on the bar, which means your muscles are going to be stimulated more, so they're more likely to grow. Creatine will also fill up your muscles with water, making them look more puffy and full, and just keep them hydrated, which is obviously more healthy when you're training in the gym. But basically, you can just train more intensely, and for me, it actually makes me so much stronger. So when you're on a cut more than ever, I recommend taking creatine. You can get it from myprotein if you want, obviously use my code HAL. So yeah, creatine is my penultimate tip on this list. And finishing off for today is low calorie dense foods. So in order to help with hunger problems, you need low calorie dense foods. But what do I mean by that? Well, let me show you. This is what 100 calories of peanut butter looks like. And this is what 100 calories of popcorn looks like. Not only will it take more time to eat the popcorn, but it will also fill you up more than the tiny spoonful of peanut butter. So eat the foods that you can eat a lot of, that are very high in volume, but at the same time, very low in calories. And stay away from things like peanut butter and chocolate, because the amount of calories you're getting for the volume of food you have is just not worth it whatsoever. And that is everything I did to get shredded in 60 days. If you don't believe me, this is a before and after photo on the screen now. And if you follow these tips that I've followed, chances are you'll get the same results too. Just be consistent with it, have a good diet, train intensely, drink lots of water. Oh, and of course be in a calorie deficit. But that is the end of this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, comment to boost the algorithm, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.